Very thankful today to have a good friend that we're going to be talking to. He is a successful businessman, but he's also a successful father and husband. He's married to a beautiful and intelligent wife, and actually, he's top of the list for family. And he had an outstanding roommate in college that may have influenced him a little bit. Uh, I can't really brag about that because the roommate was me, and I kind of followed him around for a few years. Bud, thanks for taking this time to talk to us today.
Thank you, Dean.
Tell us a little about your business.
Well, the business is a family business founded in late 1940s by my father. I'm generation. Our industry is industry focus is on primarily selling safety equipment, fire protection systems, and we get involved with some environmental software.
How many employees are you involved with?
Today, Dean, we're up to approximately 550.
Well, that's one of the things I kind of want to talk about in a little while. Tell me about yourself a little bit, where you started. I know after college you went right into business, and kind of give me the history there, if you would.
Sure. Always had a desire to go into the family business. Growing up, my father was a very powerful influence, albeit in trying to start a business and grow a business. He was not home very much. His influence and just a wonderful role model for me. And it was actually my sophomore year in college. We were roommates, and I made the decision to send a note to my father that at some point I'd like to come into the business. And so went to graduate school, after DePaul, went into the military, got out of the military, and then joined the company full time. So I'm well over 50 years, 60 years with the company, and they call me Chairman Emeritus now. So it means nothing.
Is emeritus a good thing? I think that's English for we're worn out.
We're worn out. Well, I started planning an exit strategy my 40th year, and made it known to the associates. And
wow.
Third generation is in control, or in the seat right now, and passing the baton, I tell you, was emotional and very difficult.
I can highly endorse Bud's assessment of his father. I didn't get to be around him a lot, but my father died when I was young, and I can remember going out to dinner with Bud and his dad shared a lot, and we both admired him very much. I didn't get to, as I said, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him, but he had a lot of influence on a lot of folks. But I know you went through some tough times. You mind sharing some of those and kind of how you got through them?
Sure. While I was just started full time with the company, it was still a very sudden, it was very shocking, and so that was some very tough times in the early 70s. We went through a tremendous growth. Fairly successful. In most cases, to fix anything, we just sell more, and that kind of reached an ending point when you not only had to have growth on the top line, you had to grow the bottom line too. And we had never really focused on the profitability of the company. We always paid attention to it. We were always profitable, but we really didn't have a strong storm. Several things came together in the early 90s. And I will say my priorities in the early days, my priorities were the company, the success of the company. I felt a tremendous obligation to the legacy of my father to keep the company and to save the company, if you will. And so my priority was the company. Family was, they won't admit it, but I know a distant second most of the time. Friends, my faith, somewhere way down the list. It was really not in the picture.
Well, as we're talking to
But the company was to work hard and play hard.
Yeah.
And,
Well, as you know, Bud, we've had similar backgrounds, and I have to say, it didn't come out of us being roommates, but I think in my case, I was just intent on being so successful. I didn't have anything in the way. I was running through hurdles rather than jumping them, and family kind of took a second fiddle to everything else. And I'm bringing that up because you mentioned you didn't really rely on your faith at that time. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you developed that and maybe how you worked it into your company later?
Sure. In the early 90s, Dean, we weren't in nearly the contact with each other like we are today, and we have been for a long time. But in the early 90s, and I shared a little bit of this with you on the telephone over the years, but God really got my attention. Like I say, the company had grown tremendously, but we really didn't have an organizational structure. I had 20 people reporting to me. Decisions were bottlenecked, if you will, at my desk, at my office, and I was traveling 75% of the time, and so a lot of things just didn't happen unless I was there. And then there was a business downturn, and as hard as we tried to sell more, we had no business getting into. It sounded like a good idea, but and we funded it out of daily operations, and it just turned out to be a tremendous losing experience. For the first time ever, the company had bank debt. Then we got into an overextension situation, and not many people know this, but there were several weeks there when I had trouble making payroll, and it was a very fearful experience. I had a lot of doubt in my capabilities to run the company. I had I think I've shared with you, tremendous fear of flying, and I was in the air 2 or 3 times a week, and on many occasions I had to have a cocktail to get on the plane. It was just not a good time.
How do you think you got through that, and what part did your faith play in that, Bud?
Well, the faith didn't play any part at that point, but around the same time in the early 90s, 1994, Kathy asked me to take her to church one Mother's Day, and I thought it was the same church that I grew up in. We'd gone to on Christmas and Easter and so forth, but it was a new church that she'd been attending, and while I was out of town, I didn't even know about it. Just gradually, I'd be entertaining, and I'd say a prayer at mealtime. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It took hold, it took root, so to speak. And I realized how many of our customers, how many of the people that I called on a regular basis really had strong faith. And that helped me. You helped me. Your influence and your faith really helped me. And
it's nice to say, but I can attest to the fact in the companies that it's really amazing, folks, when you look back, and as Bud said, I think our courses in life have been parallel. we're all in a position where we try to be successful, quote unquote, because we measure things on the bottom line. But we find, and one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to Bud is, and as he's expressed, his bottom line became the Lord, and it doesn't inhibit you at all. That faith actually provides leadership and counsel to other people. So I wanted to spend time with him. I love this guy. I love what he's done for other people, and appreciate his character. Bud, thank you so much for your time, and we'll look forward to talking soon. And I won't tease you about being from Kentucky.